to Underrated Movies. I'm your guy, I'm your man, Mr. Alton Henry. Today, I would like to talk to you of another underrated film that I just happened to rewatch after so many years. It's been, I don't know how long. But first time I saw it, I thought this was a phenomenal thriller, and this you really got to check out, man, especially if you're looking for something that's a little bit different from a Denzel Washington movie. This is Out of Time, starring Denzel Washington, Sanaa Lane, or this is Sanaa. Okay, yeah, and Eva Mendes. It's a story about a cop. I don't know whether we're the location of it. I don't know if they were in. I think it was in Florida somewhere. This cop is having a relationship with a married woman, affair, while also in the process of finalizing his divorce. Who was married to Eva Mendes at the time in the film. Who shortly discovers that his mistress has cancer. And he is trying to figure out a way to help her out. So he gives her some drug money that he had in a evidence cage container. He gives it to her, and then she takes off and frames him for the crime. So now it's a race against time of him trying to cover his tracks while also trying to track down her and then anybody else who was involved of setting him up. And this is a very interesting thriller. It's a slow build mystery. You know, it kind of sets its tone a little bit. It kind of ease you in onto the characters and their situation, where they kind of basically tell you straight up these characters aren't your typical, they feel very real. You have Denzel's character who's interested in a married woman who, doing some things, and next thing you know, things kind of get a little bit chaotic, where she just has been having cancer, and then Denzel's trying to help her out, and even Mendes, his relationship with her, he's trying to you see their relationship are really at odds because they're in the process of finalizing or at their final stages of their divorce. And you kind of trying to see that how their lives are kind of entangled until Sanaa Lane's character brings up her situation, and then they're trying to figure out how to deal with it and financially cover it. And Denzel, trying to be the heroic kind of guy, decides to he signed himself to be the beneficiary of her death, and then also gave her the evidence money, and then she takes off. And he's like, "What the heck happened?" Because she was supposed to meet her somewhere to finalize that send off, but she splits, and now he's trying to call her and trying to track her down, and while also covering his involvement in that, because now he could be reliable as an accessory to the crime. So he's trying to cover his tracks while trying to track her down. And this movie's intense as hell. When it gets to that part where she is gone, and then you have Denzel pretty much just trying to dodge his way, talk his way out of a situation to continue his private investigation. Like, I love how this director, and I think the director's name is Carl Franklin, who's also done some acting. I love how he kind of pans and zooms in on the situation where Denzel now has to figure out a way to get out of the situation, where one situation elapses onto another and onto another, where it just feels so overwhelmed, but he tries, but the character must not lose focus on what he's trying to do. Eva Mendes, who's actually the character that is investigating the crime or investigating Sanaa Lane's character and trying to figure out where she went. Her character is pretty much oblivious as to what's going on while Denzel's trying to cover his tracks. But eventually, things start to kind of add up where she's talking to witnesses, to talking to key witnesses who's been involved or has seen these people in the crime. And it gets very intense where Denzel is trying to find ways to outsmart his other fellow police officers or agents to continue his investigation and try to not get caught. It gets very intense, man. I'm serious. It gets so intense, man. And this is not really like an action film because there's really particularly one thrilling scene, and it's actually pretty intense as hell. It reminds me of a scene from this Chinese film called Protege, where they're on the side of the building and they're trying to crawl their way out of their during a police raid. But here, Denzel gets attacked and he's literally hanging off the side of the building, off this balcony. The balcony's about to fall apart where he's trying to beat this guy who's also involved with the crime. And it's very, very just anxiety driven, just like it's an intense scene, man. It's suspense. This was great, man. It feels like a Brian De Palma directed modern film. I mean, this movie was made 23 years ago. Wow. 23 years ago. And I actually I still remember the TV spot for whatever reason. That shot of him dangling from the balcony, I just remember that. In 2003 when I was playing at the theaters at the time. But seeing it again now, because I've seen the film before, like years ago. This movie is a forgotten gem. Just forgotten gem, a masterclass suspense, and then you have Denzel playing an unusual kind of like action hero. That's, you can't necessarily say you root for, but it's a character where he makes a dumb decision and he's trying to get out of that decision, and you see just how dire his situation becomes. If he plays his card right, he may get out of it, but it becomes so intense, man. This movie is currently available on Tubi. I highly recommend this. And if you have a favorite underrated Denzel Washington movie that you believe should have gotten more attention, please let me know in the comment section below. Share, like, subscribe, and let me know what is your favorite underrated movie.